Cain in the Galilee, kicking game like Bruce Lee. Tell them what you see. I see the Most High healing the blind. Everybody in the class
Morteh, my friend.
becoming divine. Oh, we hooked to the vine. Came ready for the climb. Tell them this is the sign. Hey, swear that it's the reason why I rhyme. When we in Cain in the Galilee, standing in the promised land. Tell them this is part of the blessings, family. Welcome to the journey. They call me Deshawn, the promised land consultant, a servant who's dedicated to serving you from sun up to sun down. Dedicated, family, to seeing you planted, growing, and manifesting in your promised land. And for those of you who don't know what a promised land is, it's the place where your hopes, your dreams, and your aspirations are waiting for you. It's that place where you're operating at your optimal vibration and you become all that you need to be. Today's conversation that we are going to shine a spotlight on is a continuation of the series, The Bells of Rebellion, which has to do when the enemy's plotting against you. He's speaking in your ear and he's trying to pull you away, push you away, kick you away from the path that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob has set for you. And it's my belief that it's my belief that when you are hungry, angry, lonely, tired, that these are the times when you are most susceptible to acting out and being pulled away from the road that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob has set for you. I use the acronym H.A.L.T to help you remember. In the last video, we reviewed hungry. This video, we're looking at angry. That's what we're going to shine. We're shining the spotlight on because there's a thin line between being upset and set up. When you are angry, there is a thin line between being upset and set up. The individual's life from the Bible that we are going to shine the spotlight on and dig into for this particular walk, family, is a man that lived during the 13th century BC. His father was Amram, his mother was Jochebed. At the time of his birth, all the males were being killed by the Egyptians, and his name quite simply means drawn from the water. I almost forgot where I was going with that, but yeah, his name means drawn from the water. And I chose Moses because looking into his life is very interesting, because God saw Moses as the most humble man on earth, and that's quite a distinction to carry with you and to have, I believe, to be the most humble person on earth. He's not easily shaken. He's not easily upset or angered, but that's why we're looking into his life. So the first place that we're going to look to see where the enemy's setting up Moses, where Moses is hearing the bells of rebellion, is when he's in Egypt. He is still with his adopted mother and father, which is, Egyptian royalty. And at this time, he gets the inclination to go down and see how his true people are doing, the ones who are doing all the grunt work and labor in Egypt. And as he goes down there to see what's happening, he sees something that infuriates him. He sees something that upsets him, right? And what's happening is there is an Egyptian taskmaster that's beating one of the Israelites. Some people think to death. But anyway, as Moses sees it, he becomes upset. So upset that he kills the man and buries him in the sands. Don't play with Moses. You see how Moses moves, right? 1 minute he's humble, next second he's ready to get down and dirty, right? So it's my belief that Moses was set up in this moment when he was upset, because the enemy knew what to do to get Moses to act out, because he knew that Moses loved his people, that Moses had a heart for his people. Now, some people think differently, but some people would say that when Moses became upset, that it was just zeal for his father's house, for his father's people had eaten him up. But I would say look to the ramifications, look to the consequences that follow the actions of being upset. And that's how you know what side of the scale you were on, right? So what happened after Moses became upset, and I think it was the next day or sometime later, he came to see his people again after he had killed the Egyptian and buried them in the sand. There's two men going back and forth, squabbling, having a qualm, fighting, right? And as Moses tries to intervene and he tries to quell the fight, one of the individual looks at Moses and said, who made you a judge between us? Are you going to kill me like you killed the man yesterday? And when Moses heard this, fear came on him, right? Moses became worried. And anytime you're in that state of mind, I believe that's not from God. That's not how God wants us to move. And that's what makes me think that Moses was set up, that his anger, that he let take control of him in that moment should not have been dispersed in that particular avenue. And that because of that anger, Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness learning about God, learning how to shepherd sheep. Next place that we're going to move on to and look at where Moses was set up, or he became upset and the enemy took advantage of that anger, took advantage of that energy that took over Moses, was when he's in the desert. The children of Israel have been released from bondage. Egypt has no hold on them any longer, and they are at the mountain of Sinai, and God calls Moses up the mountain to receive commands from him. Moses goes up, he receives the commands. But as they're finishing up, God alerts Moses to something crazy that's going on down below. And God's like, yo, get down there. They're in disorder. Get them in order. So as Moses is coming down the mountain, what does he see? The children of Israel have made idols. They're doing grown folk stuff, and they're worshiping and they're worshiping the idol also, right? As Moses sees this zeal for his father's house comes back once again. And what does Moses do? The 10 commandments that are in his hand, boom, throws them down, breaks them, right? Shatters the commandments. Then he goes down, gets the children of Israel in order like God told him to. But after this is all settled, what happened? God calls Moses back up the mountain. I don't know if you've ever climbed the mountain before. It's not easy work, and I can't imagine climbing Sinai is like easy by any means. Once he gets up there, I think the first time God cut the tablets out, but the second time Moses had to cut the tablets out and etch on there the 10 commandments. That's work. That's work, especially in the desert. And when you've been fasting, right? Moses had to fast again, I want to say for 40 days and 40 nights. For God to give him those commands again. And it's all that work that Moses had to put in once again to get the tablets and the 10 commandments of God, which makes me think his anger, that zeal that he showed for his father's house, which was right, was used in the incorrect manner. Now, it's happened twice, and God hasn't really checked the anger. Next area that we can see or shine the spotlight in, where I believe Moses was set up because he was upset, is when the children of Israel are in the desert, right? And they are moving around, but they don't have enough water, and the people begin to complain. So God this time talks to Moses, but he gives him a command. He tells him exactly what he needs to do and how it should go down, right? And I think this is on purpose because God's kind of like putting them, he's kind of testing Moses, right? Everybody's being tested when they're out there to see if they'll follow the voice of God. So anyway, God tells Moses exact instructions: talk to the rock and water will come out. And as Moses gets ready to do it, the people are complaining, the people are whining, the people want to go back to Egypt, they want to go back to bondage. And Moses, who's known as the most humble man, rightfully gets upset. He rightfully, there's nothing wrong with being angry, there's nothing wrong with getting upset, but it's what you do in the preceding moments. And what did Moses do? He struck the rock instead of speaking to the rock, right? And it was because of this interaction, because of this moment, because of not controlling that anger, that Moses had consequences, that he wasn't able to get into his promised land. And this is what I mean when I say there's a thin line between being upset and set up by the enemy. The enemy's always checking our patterns. He's always looking for those weaknesses in our armor. And by all means, Moses was a very humble man. He was known by God as being someone that was extremely humble, but this is where the enemy found a weakness, right? He found a way to anger Moses, to agitate Moses, right? And there's other moments that I could pull on and pull in, that I could push on and pull in to this talk about Moses being upset. But those are the three where I wanted to shine the spotlight and show you that when anger comes into your life, you have to check it, right? And how do we do this? I talked about this in one of the other videos. How you check your anger is, one, you learn to meditate. When I say meditate, I'm talking about connecting with God, praying to God, listening to God, sitting with God, right? And pushing out all the other distractions. That's what I mean when I say meditation. Next, when those heated situations come, you learn to breathe, right? This will take us out of the sympathetic or fight or flight mode and push us over into the parasympathetic, which has to do with rest and digest. When you're in the fight or flight mode or that sympathetic side, remember, this is heavily relied on your flesh, right? Because when you're in this mode, your amygdala goes on alert. Your amygdala goes on alert. It alerts your hypothalamus. Your hypothalamus sends out signals to your body. You start sweating more. You become tense, and glucose is released into your bloodstream because you're ready to fight. Your flesh is ready. But when you're on the parasympathetic side, rest and digest, you're listening to God. You're relaxed, and that's where you want to be when you are in troubled situations, and learning to breathe, learning to relax, learning to rely on God when you are becoming angry, catching it at the root starts with meditation. And then through the meditation of focusing on God, then you learn where to run and where to go. Family, that is the message for today. There's a thin line between being upset and set up. And as you're moving towards your promised land, what I pray for you is that you'll begin to meditate. You'll begin to pray to God, listen to God, sit with God. That's building that relationship. So when you're in the heated moments where the enemy's testing you, because the bells of rebellion will always ring in everybody's life, right? And the anger is going to test you. The hunger's going to test you. The anger is going to test you. The loneliness is going to test you. The tiredness is going to test you. And how we overcome it is learning to focus on God in the moment, how to breathe deeply and give the situation to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and his risen Messiah. Amen. And I pray that for you as you're moving towards your hopes, your dreams, and your aspirations.
Galilee, look at how we got it in Canaan, Galilee. Kicking that game in my Father's name. Better know that we is never ashamed. This has always been our lane. Hey, this our claim. Let it rain from mountain to mountain. Let my mind pour out like a fountain. Tell them what they steadily counting as we dancing in Canaan, Galilee. They know what we see, all up in the eyes. Never a surprise as we see in that water just rise. Looking